Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Leonard and welcome back to another episode of the Love Doesn't Hurt podcast, where we provide domestic violence education, empower survivors, and promote healing from the inside out. This week, we are continuing a series of episodes on the podcast where I am breaking down the Netflix miniseries Maid. In the last 4 episodes of the podcast, I broke down the first 7 episodes of Maid, so be sure to go check those out if you missed them or you just need a refresher on what happened. Just as a trigger warning, this show does depict an abusive relationship that may be triggering if you've experienced similar abuse, especially with these 2 episodes. So proceed with caution, or feel free to pass on this episode of the podcast if that is not beneficial to your emotions or your healing. Just as a reminder, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and follow the show on whatever podcast platform you use. With that being said, let's get into the breakdown. Episode 8 of Maid is called Bear Hunt and opens with Alex waking up at Sean's the morning after her mom cut her arm and the former couple hooked up again. Alex seems shocked that she's in Sean's house again and tries to take in the fact that she's there as she gets up and puts on her clothes. Sean tries to get her to get back in bed, but Alex refuses and just tries to get back to Nate's as soon as possible. When Sean drops Alex off at Nate's, he's under the impression that Alex has decided to get back together with him just because she slept in his bed. He gets upset when Alex doesn't want to go to the hospital to visit her mom as a family and kind of tries to force her to get back together with him. Alex doesn't want to deal with his insecurity and goes inside to talk to Nate about what happened. Alex explains the previous night to Nate, and he's clearly very upset with her because he was watching Maddie as Alex hooked up with her ex just hours after explaining how much he admires her and wants to take her on a date. Out of his own hurt feelings, Nate basically just tells Alex that she's getting back together with Sean because of this incident, even though Sean took advantage of her while she was hurting and scared. Alex really doesn't want this to be true, so she tells Nate that she's not doing this as a way of telling herself that. Nate asks Alex to move out, but tells her to keep the car, which she really appreciates. After packing her car with their belongings, Alex takes Maddie to meet Sean at the hospital to visit her mom. They walk into the room and are immediately greeted by Paula, Alex's mom, screaming at the designated crisis responder. But takes a brief moment from this to yell at Sean and Alex to get Maddie out of the room because she can't do her. They leave the room for the DCR to get an intake on Paula, and after that, the DCR explains that she's filing a petition to detain Paula because she's dangerous to herself and others. Alex is shocked at this and says her mom's harmless, but she's obviously not if she severed a tendon, breaking into her own home. The DCR then explains that Alex can provide collateral information, which would be evidence that her mother would attend an outpatient program and take her medication, and this would allow her mother to be released into her care. Alex can't handle taking care of her mother full-time because she has a job and a toddler, so she and the DCR agreed to move her mother to a care center for 2 weeks. Alex goes back in to talk to her mother, but not tell her about the next 2 weeks because she doesn't want to be blamed for putting her mother there. Paula wants Alex to lie and give false collateral information so she can get out and cope with her bipolar disorder on her own terms. Paula sees her mania and depression like the tide. Waves crash over, but eventually she rolls back in. After visiting her mother, Alex goes to work and then goes to Sean's. When she arrives there, her father and stepmother are there, but they get the vibe that Alex doesn't want them around and leave after hearing about Paula's condition from Sean. Sean made dinner to try and win Alex over and get her to get back together with him, but Alex wants to keep clear boundaries and is cautious when considering the possibility, so she decides to sleep on the couch until she can find a new place for her and Maddie. As Alex is getting ready for bed, Sean informs her that he's quitting his job bartending because it's hard on his sobriety and is going to start learning carpentry so he can eventually make a lot more money and support the three of them. Alex doesn't want him to factor her in, but Sean thinks if Alex is back, she should be back, implying that they should immediately be back together, and tries to pressure her into getting into bed with him in a way that really just gave me the ick. The next day, Alex goes to Regina's house to clean, where Regina is feeling tired, dirty, and really needs to go to the bathroom as she's been struggling with her newborn son for the past few days and has found that he only sleeps in the car. Alex works some mom magic and uses music to keep Regina's son asleep to transfer him from the car to the crib. She then goes downstairs to find Regina crying from frustration and exhaustion, saying that she can't be a mom because she's struggling already on day 4. Alex has been there and understands the feeling, so she advises Regina to nap when her baby does in order to survive. At first, Regina resists this in true, productive girl boss fashion, but then gives in and naps while Alex cleans and makes sure her baby is okay while he sleeps. While at Regina's, Alex gets a call from the chair of the creative writing program in Missoula, who says she could be considered for the scholarship she previously was offered if she reapplied, and that all she would need with her application is an updated writing sample. With this news, Alex goes into Regina's office to quickly type her writing sample before Regina wakes up. Alex finishes just as Regina wakes up and feels rejuvenated after getting some sleep, leading her to show Alex some kindness and ensure that she found housing for her and her daughter. Regina then also apologizes for being rude when Alex asked to be her nanny. She realized that Alex wasn't asking for herself, she was asking for her daughter. Alex goes to visit her mother at the treatment facility, and Paula seems so happy to see Alex, thinking that her daughter will get her out of there. Paula is frustrated that she has little time with her phone, has to take a lot of medications, and says that she's scared of the really crazy people there. Alex thinks that it might be a good thing for her mom to get some medication, and this causes Paula to realize that her daughter didn't stop the court from putting her into the care facility, and that Alex thinks she belongs there. Paula can't understand how Alex would allow this to happen, and throws many things she's done for her daughter back in her face. This includes letting Alex and Maddie stay with her in the RV when they were homeless, even though Alex let her mom stay with her when Basil took off with the RV and all of Paula's belongings and was renting her house out, and letting Alex ruin her marriage with her new husband, even though Alex was just trying to protect her mom from her new husband's scams, because that's what you do when you love someone, Paula says, and explains that she wouldn't let doctors keep Alex locked up and medicated. Alex tells her mother that she loves her, but Paula just wants her to leave, so Alex is escorted out. Paula definitely was speaking from a place of anger here, and was likely trying to make her daughter feel as upset as she did, and probably wanted to try and manipulate her emotions to see if Alex would then sign her out. the next day, Alex's boss found out that she had embezzled by taking business from the company and gets fired. This means Alex no longer has her ferry pass, and Maddie can no longer go to the nice preschool. Upon arriving home, Alex takes Maddie for a hike so she can clear her head, and they call this a bear hunt, so it sparks Maddie's imagination and is more fun for her. Later that night, Sean comes home from his first day learning carpentry, and Alex shares that she got fired, but is thinking about starting her own cleaning business. Sean points out that they can no longer afford daycare for Maddie without Alex's income and ferry pass, and says that Maddie loves being with Alex more. Sean can't watch Maddie during the week because of his apprenticeship, so he suggests Alex clean on the weekends. Alex is determined to be financially independent, even though Sean is clearly trying to trap her with financial abuse, but he seems willing to compromise on the issue, so Alex starts to have some hope that they can work everything out and goes to put out flyers for her new business. Alex goes to visit her mom in the mental health facility again, but Paula won't talk to her at all. So Alex just talks about Maddie and how Paula's artistic talent was obviously passed down to her. Alex also tells her mother that she applied to the writing program at Missoula again, and that if she gets in, they'll move to Montana and have a great life full of adventures and love. After Alex lost her job, Sean decided to pick up a shift at the bar to try and make ends meet, and on his way out, Alex tells him that they need money for her phone, food, and gas. Sean asks if they can just share his phone, which is a red flag because it isolates Alex while he has gone all day and she wouldn't actually really have access to the phone. Alex says she needs to keep her phone on because she put her number on all the cleaning ads, but Sean belittles her efforts by saying no one is calling, even though Alex says she's trying, but no one wants weekend cleans, which is all she can do since Maddie isn't in daycare and Sean works all day during the week. Sean blows off the conversation, saying that he'll have cash after his shift at the bar and that they'll work it out. Alex's dad conveniently shows up unannounced during this conversation, even though it's late at night, to drop off Alex's furniture from the apartment with the black mold. He wants to prove that he'll do what he says he's going to do by bringing Alex's stuff, even though this clearly doesn't involve respecting anyone else's time. Alex's dad tries to get Sean to go to an AA meeting because he hasn't seen him in a while, but Sean has been working a lot, just like he was about to leave to do. Sean takes a stand and tells Alex's father that he can't come to their house anymore because Alex doesn't want him there, and Sean stands with Alex. But of course, in this good moment of Sean doing right by Alex, her father has to plant a seed of doubt by telling Sean that Alex clearly isn't with him because he's working 2 jobs and missing AA meetings since she came back. After Alex's father leaves, Alex hugs and kisses Sean to thank him for defending her, and Sean is thrilled at this reaction. And this leads Alex to think that Sean is really starting to change. Regina calls Alex, confused as to why another girl is at her house to clean, but Alex has to explain that she got fired. Regina doesn't care about loyalty to the Maid company, so she offers Alex $20 an hour with 15 hours a week minimum and includes a ferry pass for Alex to clean and help her with her son. Alex is just about to accept this position when her phone runs out of minutes, so she has to drive to the nearest payphone and joyfully accepts this offer from Regina. Alex then goes to visit her mom, but come to find out, she was released into Basil's care as he provided collateral information to support Paula. Alex is so frustrated her mom was able to call Basil to get out of the care that she needs and vents about this to Sean. Sean is kind of to the point of giving up on Paula because Alex really has done so much for her and she's not a child, so she can really do whatever she wants. More importantly, though, Sean is excited for Alex's new job and that she negotiated a part-time deal with the good preschool for Maddie. Later that evening, Sean and Alex go to celebrate their friend's elopement, and while Sean is making a toast to the couple, he makes a point to describe how the woman had helped the man to improve his life and just looks at Alex during this point like he's trying to say she's doing the same for him. While they're there, Alex gets an email that she got the scholarship to Missoula again, and her friends are super excited for her to go to college, but Sean is immediately angry when he hears this. He feels out of the loop because Alex didn't tell him that she applied to college again, and is upset that she wants to take Maddie to Montana. Sean realizes that Alex's dad was right, that she wasn't with him, and that she had a getaway car with college the whole time they were living together again, even though Alex just found out she got the scholarship and wasn't sure if her dream would really come to fruition. Sean questions why he's working 2 jobs and trying to be a better person for Alex, again echoing the sentiments her father put into his head. Sean should be bettering himself for himself and Maddie, and Alex didn't even ask him to work 2 jobs or agree to get back together with him. Sean continues to yell at Alex and says that she doesn't understand how hard it is for him to not drink, and that he thought they were building something together as a family. Alex may have moved back in, but she made it pretty clear with her boundaries that she didn't want to immediately agree to be with Sean again, so I'm not really sure why he jumped to the extreme here. Alex tells him it's just a writing program and that her applying had nothing to do with Sean, which Alex, trying to better her life without Sean, likely made him more upset because he can't see a life without her. In this moment, he feels blindsided and explains that he doesn't know what Alex's plan is without him. All Sean sees is Alex taking their child to Montana and not caring about him anymore, so it almost feels like a betrayal to him. He's personalizing a situation that really didn't involve him. Sean then orders Alex to get into the car, and they drive home, but when they arrive, Sean leaves Alex at home and drives off. So Alex sleeps in Maddie's room that night, possibly to have the comfort of her daughter after being ridiculed for trying to make their lives better, but even more likely to avoid Sean when he returns home because he could be drunk and angry and try to hurt Alex like many times before. The next morning, Alex gets up and notices that her car is gone. Sean tells her that he took Maid's car back last night because he's sick of looking at another man's car in the driveway. I read into this as Sean is punishing Alex for wanting to move states away, so he took the car back so she has less freedom to leave and becomes even more isolated and dependent on him, and now she can't even work at all. Alex understandably freaks out and starts yelling at Sean because now she can't do anything or go anywhere, which was exactly the point of him doing this. Sean pushes Alex into the wall to get her to stop yelling because he's late for work, but this is just another means to make Alex fear him more. Alex then cries and tries to take Maddie on a hike to clear her head, but ends up having a panic attack outside and just goes back in, lays on the couch, and doesn't move or speak as time goes on, and Sean comes in and drinks. Episode 9 is called Sky Blue and opens with a visual of Alex in a dark hole with Maddie as she hears Regina yelling and knocking on the door. This visual of the hole appears many times throughout this episode and is representative of how Alex feels. She feels trapped in a dark place because of Sean's abuse. Sean yells at Alex for not answering the door and just sitting on the couch, and then goes to answer the door. Regina tells him that she's concerned for Alex because she hasn't seen her in 4 weeks after she was supposed to start working for her, and Sean tells Regina that Alex isn't there, and questions how she got their address in the first place. Regina explains to a very angry and defensive Sean that she got the address from Value Maids and that she wants to return Alex's notebook to her and make sure she's okay. Sean offers to just take the notebook and return it to Alex, but Regina refuses to do this, probably because she knows Sean isn't actually going to give it to Alex and that he's controlling and manipulative. It's a really good thing that Regina was able to recognize domestic violence in Alex's situation and wanted to try and help Alex to make sure she was okay. And this is exactly why I have this podcast, so more people can recognize DV and be able to offer help when they see someone who needs it. Sean then changes his story with another lie, saying that Alex actually is there and just doesn't want to see Regina. This keeps Alex isolated and controlled, and Sean eventually gets the notebook. After Sean closes the door, Alex immediately gets up and tries to get the notebook, and on the way to Sean, she makes eye contact with Regina, and they share a sort of knowing look through the window. The conversation over the notebook goes like this. "Can I have the notebook? I don't like you giving this address out." Even though it was Alex's job that had the address so she could get paid, Sean is trying to keep Alex isolated from the outside world by no one knowing where she was to find her and help her. "Can I have the notebook? You think I'm going to steal it?" Sean is gaslighting Alex into questioning if he really would, even though it's definitely in his character for him to steal it. Sean definitely wants to keep the notebook so she can't write more for college or to express her feelings, and he might even be suspicious that Regina wrote something in it to try and help Alex. "Can I please have the notebook? It's right there, crazy." Sean is, once again, gaslighting Alex into thinking she's crazy or suspecting that he'd hide things from her when he definitely would. This creates a sense of paranoia in a lot of survivors because they end up questioning their own judgment. Alex then gets the notebook, but the conversation continues. "Why is Maddie still in her pajamas? We're about to get dressed. It's 4 p.m. It's embarrassing. Someone's at the door and she's not dressed. It looks like trash lives here." Now, there's a lot to unpack with this bit. Sean insinuates that Alex is a bad mother for letting Maddie stay in her BJs and implies that she's also an embarrassment to Sean and trash, which can diminish Alex's sense of self-worth and likely increases her need to rely on Sean because she's worthless and needs help and direction to be presentable. To avoid conflict, Alex just agrees and goes to give Maddie a bath, so she turns on the water, Sean leaves for work, and she shuts it off again to check the notebook for anything Regina may have left in there. Regina had left her card with her phone number and a note telling Alex to call anytime. This is the perfect example of how to reach out to a domestic violence victim. It doesn't put pressure on them to leave or make accusations about the situation, but rather is an open invitation for receiving help. Victims have to make the choice to leave on their own, or else it likely won't stick, so offering help when they're ready to have it is perfect. Later that night, Alex is in Maddie's bed when she hears Sean get back from work. She hears him come in, open a beer, walk to Maddie's room, stop outside the door, and then continue on after a few seconds. During this scene, you can just feel the tension and stress Alex is experiencing when she doesn't know if Sean is going to come in and do something to her or not. As someone who experienced domestic violence in their home, it really took me back to those feelings of stress and fear, so this scene definitely encapsulates the experience well. Alex's dad comes over for dinner the next day, proving that Sean didn't stay true to his word in respecting Alex's wishes. As they're sitting down to eat, Alex says she's going to go lie down for a little bit because she's not feeling well, but Sean tells her she's being rude and intimidates her by backing her into a wall, telling her to sit down. There are many more nights of Alex sleeping in Maddie's bed as Sean gets home and drinks, with the last including him bringing another woman home. One day after this, Sean gets home early with his beers and said he got fired for counting money wrong at the bar because he was drunk at work. Sean is upset that Alex isn't making him feel better about this and says she's supposed to tell him everything is going to be fine, like she's supposed to live to please him. But she can't because she doesn't know if they're going to be fine. She's upset with Sean because he brought home beer instead of food for their child, which makes Sean more angry, and he throws a vase near her head and storms out of the house. This scares Alex so much because it reminds her of the first night that she left. So she frantically looks for Maddie and finds her hiding in a kitchen cupboard, just like she did as a child. This is why breaking the cycle is so important. Domestic violence can create generational trauma. In that moment, Alex knows that she has to leave again, so she takes Maddie and just runs toward a main road and walks to a gas station. There, she borrows someone's phone and is able to call Regina to pick them up and take them to the DV shelter. Regina offers to let them stay in the guest room at her house and to walk in with Alex, but Alex politely declines because she knows she's where she needs to be. Denise greets the girls and brings them to an apartment where Alex tells her that she doesn't have anything. She just left without thinking. This shows the severity of domestic violence. When you find an opportunity to leave, you just have to do it. That night, Alex can't sleep from the adrenaline and has flashbacks to the first time that she was at the shelter. And for days after getting there, the girls spend a lot of time in the apartment recovering, just being together, relaxing, and eating. When she's finally ready to leave the apartment, Alex meets Denise in the office, and Maddie goes to a playgroup with other kids her age in the shelter. The adults go to the shelter boutique that has gently used clothing with blank tags and a cash register to simulate a normal shopping experience, but everything is free. This experience gives shelter residents a sense of self again, so if you're able to donate to a shelter near you, please do. Alex gets overwhelmed being in the boutique and almost leaves, but the other shelter resident working there pulls some basic clothes for Alex and Maddie so they have something to wear. She explains that most survivors get overwhelmed their first time there because their circuits are fried after what they've been through, and that it took her weeks to remember her favorite color after arriving at the shelter. After shopping the boutique, Denise gives Alex a refurbished phone because the Federal Communications Commission has a Lifeline program that provides discounted phone service for people in emergency shelters. Alex is really hesitant to accept this because she doesn't want to have any emails from Sean waiting for her, or for the new number to be listed anywhere or found online. She doesn't have to worry about these things. Denise just wants to be able to get the phone working. So Alex fills out the forms and leaves the shelter for the first time in days to leave a voicemail for her mom, so she has her new phone number, and calls Regina so they can meet and talk. Alex explains to Regina that she dropped her off at a DV shelter and that it was her first time leaving in 16 days. They talk about Alex's notebook, how she left it in Regina's office as she was filling out her college application, and that Regina thinks the stories are incredible. Alex says she did get into college with the scholarship that she wanted, but that she won't go because she can't afford it. But Regina just tells her to take out student loans. Alex then says Sean won't let her go and take Maddie, but Regina doesn't let Alex think that he has a say. She has a family lawyer friend that won't charge Alex and would help her adjust the custody agreement to take Maddie to Montana. With this good news, Alex gets to work accepting her spot at school, applying for financial aid, and eventually checks her email to find that someone had responded to her cleaning ad. Alex takes the first job that she got, and it turns out to be a hoarder that can't pay her for more than a few hours. But even after her pay limit, Alex continues to work and clean and impresses her so much that she recommends Alex's services to other hoarders in an online support group. Because of this recommendation, Alex gets many more cleaning jobs and saves up enough money to buy another car. Alex meets with Regina's friend that specializes in family law, and they create a plan to serve Sean with a notice of relocation, to amend the parenting plan, and for Alex to move to Montana, but that they would get a restraining order, emergency custody of Maddie because Sean's an abuser, and more if Sean doesn't agree to the relocation. This is a completely different experience than Alex had with the first attorney, so she's happily surprised as to how much they could do to prove Sean was abusive. Alex doesn't have much time to get all of the legal stuff done with summer classes starting soon, so she wants to go serve Sean herself to show him that she isn't scared of him anymore. Alex goes to find her mom at an arts festival, and surprise, surprise, Paula already has a new man. Paula is still mad at Alex that she allowed her to be put into a mental health facility and explains that she used Basil to get out and then got rid of him. Paula tries to get Alex to leave by saying she's busy with customers, even though her new man can deal with him as she talks to her daughter, and eventually admits that she just doesn't want to talk to Alex. But Alex is determined to sit down with her mother, so they agree to meet and have a beer. Alex goes back to the shelter boutique to find a new outfit for when she serves Sean, so she can be her most confident self. The same shelter resident is working the register this time, and Alex tells her that the sweater she picked out is sky blue, her favorite color, calling back to the resident not knowing her own favorite color for a while after arriving at the shelter. Alex then meets Sean at a coffee shop to serve him with the notice of relocation. Alex informs Sean of her plan, that she enrolled in college, has reserved family housing, that the school has daycare available for students, and that she's leaving next week. Sean wants to know where Maddie is at that very moment, but Alex doesn't waver on getting this issue resolved. She tells him that this isn't negotiable and that she has a really good attorney that would love nothing more than to get Alex a restraining order and to make Sean look bad in court. Sean still believes that he has the upper hand because the judge ruled in his favor the first time Alex left and says she can't hold Maddie hostage in a shelter again. Alex tells Sean that things are different this time and that he will never control her again, which makes him so angry that he leaves saying that they'll see each other in court. This was a really great moment, seeing Alex so strong and taking back the narrative. It's her story of survival, and she is the only one who gets to tell it. Alex and her mother then meet for a beer, and Paula is raving about her new man, even though they're technically not together and he is still living with his ex-wife. Paula says she's now part of a collective of artists that live and create together. Alex thinks her mom looks happy and explains that she's moving to Montana next week for school, which Paula is super proud of. As they go home, Alex walks her mom to her car, but Paula is acting very suspicious, not wanting Alex to come with her. This is because Alex found out that her mom was living out of her car by seeing it. Alex plays it off to keep her mother from getting upset, but follows her to see where she's really living. And as the episode ends, Alex watches her mother pull into the Walmart parking lot, where she was suggested to go the first episode, right after she left Sean. So that is a summary and breakdown of episodes 8 and 9 of Maid on Netflix. I hope you guys are enjoying this series and are looking forward to breaking down the last episode of Maid. As always, it is my goal with the Love Doesn't Hurt podcast to create another resource people can use to understand their experiences, get help, and know they're not alone. If you need immediate help, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text START in all capital letters to 88788. You can also visit their website, thehotline.org, for more information. If you enjoyed this episode or learned something new, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. If you would like to support the podcast, I would really appreciate you giving it a 5-star rating wherever you listen. Also, just as a reminder, the podcast is now available on YouTube, Amazon Music, and Audible, so you can access it anywhere you prefer to listen to podcasts. Thank you for listening to the Love Doesn't Hurt podcast. I hope you all have a great day. And remember, spread love everywhere you go.